In the last episode, we built a foundation for every character in our game with health, stamina, animations, and a character class. Today, we're going to take the next big step and create the first killer. So by the end of the video, you should have a killer subclass, a modular ability system, client server ability pipeline with basic server validation, a hitbox system that we are going to improve, and our very first ability, which is just going to be a slash, but still. And then everything today that we're going to make is going to be designed to scale, so you can just add so many more abilities of your own really easily. Time to actually start. Okay, so before starting on the actual abilities, first we're going to make a survivor HUD, just so players are going to know their stamina without having to use this random value we've got here, because obviously you're not going to be able to see that in the actual game. This is the next morning, and I have just started editing this, and I've realized all of the UI settings that are in separate windows just don't actually pick up on OBS Studio, which is just amazing. So I'll just go through and manually add photos of what they are. Right, that's the UI made. To actually make it work, you're going to need to use this script. Okay, firstly, I'm just going to organize all the stuff at the start. Sprint key I'm going to set to left control for now. Ideally at the end it's going to be left shift, but currently that's binded to shift lock, and changing the keybinds is something we can do later, because right now it doesn't really matter too much, as long as we can, you know, test that it actually works. Basically what's going on is we're recreating the same calculations on the server, but they're on the client, just because the server does not care about the size of a UI bar. Make sure if you're copying and pasting stuff like that, you just do all the correct changes. So change that to plus, change that to regen instead of drain, and then this is going to be math.minimum, and then it's going to be maximum stamina here instead of 0. And then after we've done all the calculations, we can literally just set the size. Oh wait, from scale. here I've rounded it, just because I don't want like 50 decimal points after the stamina. But depending on how accurate you want it to be, you can round it to, you know, however many decimal places you want. I'm just going to do integers because I think that's personally easier. There we go. And it works. As you can see now, while you're walking, you can regenerate stamina. You start running, and you lose it. And again, this bar design is literally just one I made. You can just use whatever you want. This was just an example of what I designed, which is kind of maybe not the best idea with the studs, but it doesn't matter. And just as a test, if we come over to the stamina, so this is our server side stamina, and this is our client side animated version. And as you can see, they basically go exactly the same, apart from this one's rounded. And you can see they increase at the same time, and they should hit 100 at the same time. Yep. So yeah, that's really good. Oh, I've just created an error here. But yeah, so this is how we can increase and decrease stamina on the client. So this client actually has nothing to do with the server. There's no like remote events constantly being fired or anything. It's literally just the client doing the same calculations. Now if you want, you can add something like the server will send the client stamina every, I don't know, 30 seconds just to make sure it's not drifting. But yeah, we can maybe add that at some point, but that's not really necessary. Okay, now because we've done that, we can just delete stamina, go into character colon update, and the line where we just set the value we can just get rid of, because now we've got our own UI for it. Now we can disable the HUD so it's not blocking our view, and then it should enable either way, yep, after we start the game, because in the Sprint client we actually just tell it to enable right here, and that is stamina done. Now I am going to warn everyone, this is probably a good point to make a backup of your game, because it's basically not going to be playable until the very end of this series, after this point, or near the end of the series. So to do that, just file, download a copy, and then you can put it wherever you want. But just because after this point we're going to start messing around with our hierarchy again, so things will break, but by the end of this episode they will all be like completely fixed, and we will have a killer system ready. So with that out of the way, let's actually start making the killer. Or when I say the killer, I mean the killer's abilities and system, not the actual killer. Okay, first order of business. We are going to change around our hierarchy to make it even better. So we're going to actually have 4 folders now. We're going to inside of shared. We're going to have our abilities. We're going to have our characters. We're going to have character. So we're going to have characters. That's going to be like your survivors and killers. And then we're going to have combat. Now inside of characters, we're going to have a killers folder, and we'll have survivors later, but survivors don't exist right now. Combat is where we're going to have our hitbox system, which we'll do in a minute. Abilities, again, we're going to have a killer subfaction in that. We're going to break down the character into components, subclasses, and then just the other two that are the same. So animation, health, stamina will go into components. Character will stay there because that's the actual system. Character config's more of a placeholder, so we'll be editing that later. Subclasses. In here we're going to have our killer subclass. And I think, well actually no, we've got assets as well, we'll do them as well now. Models, combat, hitbox. Oh. Models, combat. And now we're going to create our hitbox system. We'll relink all of these later once we finish the hitboxes. Hitbox, okay. Now hitboxes, as everything we're going to do as classes. So that means we're going to do index is going to be the hitbox. Now, we're going to want first services. We're going to want debris and players. Our constructor. Go on functions. Nice. Actually, the constructor could basically be a function, but oh well. We're going to want new hitbox, cast, and destroy. Oh, and also something I was seeing a lot of people struggle with last episode. Make sure to remember dots versus colons. Colons pass in the self table, dots don't. Colon cast and colon destroy, but dot new. We're going to want our settings. As always, we're having our meta table. Okay, what attributes will we want of a hitbox? C-frame, size, yeah, can do duration, debug just to check if they're on or not, and hit characters. Okay. Settings, .c-frame. We're gonna want the size. How long they linger for. And if it is debug, then we're going to have a visual. So you can either create a new part every time, or we can just have our own one. So I'm just going to create my own. So I'm going to have this part. It doesn't really matter the size because it will get changed no matter what. So sure, let's say this is our hitbox. I guess we can just do like very red, 0.6, off, that's kind of 0.8. You know, that's absolutely fine for most hitboxes. I'm just gonna add a selection box just to make it look a bit nicer. 0.05. I will do a bit of blue and a bit of green. Set that to the hitbox. Yeah, this can be just like 0.7. There we go. It doesn't. It just helps define the edges, I guess. I don't know. I like it. That's cool. Again, this is completely optional. You can just do instance.new part. Okay. Make sure it's anchored. Can collide is also off. And just put it into combat hitbox. Okay. Local. Wait, no, we can't do that. Visual. There, okay. That should be our constructor ready. Now we're just going to do the casting hitbox. So we're going to want our... Firstly, we're going to want overlap params. So this is just going to help us filter through stuff we just don't even care about. Enum.filter type, no raycast filter type, exclude parts is get part bounds in box, self.cframe, self.size, overlap params. Oh no, I can't call it that. Overlap parameters. Oh, they just added TDS story mode. Yeah, I'm gonna play it after though. Local characters. Gonna turn it green if it hits. Okay, nice. So that's that function done. That's basically just going to return all the characters if you cast a hitbox, all the characters inside it. Later on, we can probably add settings, and yeah, you can add settings so it doesn't have to just be characters, but for now we just want characters. And finally, if self.visual, here we are going to destroy we are going to do our little outro animation for a hitbox, and then we're going to destroy it. And then we're also going to destroy the actual memory part as well. So let's just, I don't know, set some variables in case we want to change them. Lerp, yeah. Nice. Ooh, okay. Hitboxes should be finished now. Well, not finished, but that should be enough of the functions done that we can create a somewhat reliable system. Okay, what we're going to want to do now, abilities. So hitboxes are okay, well, assuming you followed the tutorial correctly up to this point. However, we now need to make the ability system so that we can use the hitboxes for something to verify that the hitboxes actually work. So for that, we're actually just going to make our entire ability system before even testing our hitboxes, which is a bit scary, but it's fine. I've designed this all before, it's going to work, don't worry. Inside of our components, we're going to want a new module. This is going to be our ability manager. So every character is going to have an ability manager because, as the name suggests, they're going to be abilities, and every character will have a set of abilities. Ability manager. And because it's going to be a class, we need to do our index. Okay, firstly, we're going to want our constructor, and we're just going to dive straight into it. Functions. Actually, that's just it. We don't even need any services. Okay, ability manager.new. Before we even do the constructor, what are we going to need? Okay, so we're going to want add ability to a character. So we're going to like add our slash to our slasher. Going to add our get ability, because we're going to want some ability slots. We're going to want can use the ability. This is basically our midway point between the client asking to use an ability and the server executing the code to do it. This is going to be like our middleman for that. use the ability. Yeah, that sounds good for now. Okay, settings. Self is yet again, you're going to see a lot of this. Set meta table. Ability manager. There's going to be loads of classes by the end of this. Character. We're just going to need character actually, we don't even need settings. We already have all the settings we need in the actual class itself. Abilities is just empty for now. Cooldowns will also be empty. And that's literally all we need. It's not a complicated one. Okay, so we're going to have like our 5 ability slots, maybe 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5. Click and then QUERT. Slot ability. Actually, let's just do all of these. We're going to want the slot there. Slot ability. Yeah, slot ability data. Actually, no, we can just take the. Yeah. Ignore me. Let's have that there. Okay. Add ability. Self abilities slot equals ability. So that's going to say, like, I don't know, slot Q is going to be assigned to a dash ability, or I don't know, just whatever. Here we're going to do self.abilities slot can use ability. I wasn't zoomed in the whole time. No. Whoops. See, this is why we like to spam functions, because they're just so useful. They're so easy. Data there as well. This is, we haven't made this function yet, don't worry if you're confused about that. This is going to be our, you know, when we use the ability, we're going to activate it via calling :activate module script /. This can be our first ability, and it's not really an ability, it's more just very, very basic. So /. Actually, it's less basic than you might think. It is a solid 100 lines of code. So, first of all, we're going to want our services. No, let's keep the nice formatting. I like the habit this has gotten into. we will definitely need replicator storage. Definitely hitbox. What is going on with my typing? Also, I've realised you can't actually see the IntelliSense part. On my OBS Studio, it won't pick up like my autocorrect thing, which Roblox Studio gives you. Which is very odd, and it's not really a problem, doesn't really matter, but I just thought it was very odd how it wasn't picking up. Combat.hitbox. We're going to want our constants. Cooldown is just 1. And then the rest can just be local because we don't care about that. 22. These are all capitals because they're constants, like they won't change once we finish or once we start the game. Base offset. I'll explain our offsets, by the way, in a minute. This is how we're going to make the hitbox is not like phase through us all the time. For now, at least. We'll kind of get more advanced as we go. But honestly, for a slash, this isn't even that bad. Right. Oh, we didn't add the base offset. That could probably be 4, right? Yeah. Okay. Functions. Gonna want get hitbox distance, because basically the cost, what we want to do is we want the client to tell us where they are. We want to make sure the server isn't far away from the client, because if it is, that could be suspicious of just like the client extending their hitbox and cheating. But we also don't want the client to have their hitboxes inside of them, which is the issue. It's just the age-old issue, or one of the age-old issues of asyms. Where do you put the hitbox? Do you put it on the client or the server? And we will do both methods, just because some people prefer one, some people prefer the other. But I will probably be sticking with client-side hitboxes. Controlled by the client, validated by the server still. Basically think die of death. It's also very, very easy to switch between client and server side for this specific attack. Like, it really won't matter which one you want to use. There's only like one line of code difference. And now our settings, we're going to want our C frame. Box size. Debug equals true. Debug is just going to be, as we saw before, if we're going to show the hitboxes or not. I like to have them on, even without debugging, like in Forsaken. If I play that, hitboxes always on. But that's just preference. I don't really know anyone who has them off though. Cast the hitbox. And we're gonna check every single character inside. Hit Also, you may have noticed for now, we are only detecting the actual model itself. We're not getting the character class, which is quite bad, but this episode is already going to be long enough. And if we're going to go over the hitbox system again, then it just makes sense to put it in a different episode. Because I don't want to be spending like 3 weeks in between every episode. Because that would, like, you know, then no one would ever get their game done. And we can't have that. Yeah, this here with real damage from character class. This will do at a later date, but yeah, right now we're just trying to get the abilities down. We cannot do everything all at once at the same time. All at once and at the same time mean the same thing, but whatever. And then we'll just destroy. Okay. Return slash. Cool. Okay, now for the killer subclass. This is actually surprisingly less than the literal slash ability. Hitboxes are going to be a pain like that. We'll make this kind of logic reusable eventually. One episode at a time. Services? Do we need services? I can't think of any services we'd need. Just modules. Local character. Killer is going to be surprise an object. Now this time it's actually going to be a subclass, so it's going to be inheritance, where we're not just creating a fully different class for killer. What we're going to do is we're going to have our character class. Here, let's get some dummies in to show this. So what we're going to have is, this is going to be our character class. This is just whoever. This isn't anyone specific. This is just like a random person. Like, so if we have this guy, this is our neutral character, this is our character class, then under him we're going to have two different characters that are going to take this guy's attributes and they're going to add their own. So for example, this is going to be our killer, so he can just be red. Does that not work anymore? Oh, it does. So he's going to be red, and this is going to be our regular one. So we're going to have the health, stamina, all of the stats from this character, and then we're going to take this guy, we're going to give him all of the regular character stats which are here, so then he's kind of absorbed them, and then he's become even bigger, and then he's going to have his own stats like his damage, all his abilities, and so on, and that's going to be the killer subclass. And then we're going to do the same thing for the survivor, where they're going to have their own stats as well as the regular character ones. Like both of these guys are going to have their health, they're going to have stamina, all the common stuff is going to be handled by this character class at the top here, and then each of them will have specialized abilities, and that's kind of how our inheritance is going to work. So let's actually get that to work. Constructor. Oh my gosh, I started recording at 8 and it's 10:15. We're going to want new killer here. And function, right now we're just going to want load abilities. I'm not even going to create a header for it. Load abilities. And the nice thing is, every new killer, you don't have to create another one of these. This is just it. config, and our ability list. These two we'll create in a minute, these last two. As you can see, self is no longer set meta table, self is actually creating a new character. And then we're going to set the meta table and add the killer attributes, basically. And then killer config, just add this on the end, is killer config. And then after all that's done, just load the abilities, send them the ability list, and return self. In terms of the ability list itself, we're going to have, it's going to be a table, I guess, and there's going to be slots, and there's going to be ability names in pairs. My motor skills are through the floor right now. Okay, that's basically all there is to killer, so well done, that was quite easy. Oh, okay, getting there, getting there. Now, it's time for our configuration. So head over to characters, killers. Now we're going to add a folder. Here's the important bit. Name your folder whatever you want your killer to be. So here's going to be the reveal of my killer I'm going to make. You can do it the same, you can do it different, I really don't mind. Subject 0. Anyway, inside here we're going to have abilities and config. For now we literally just want M1 is going to be our slash. Don't even care about the rest. And then config. We're going to return the table. Name will be subject 0. 2000. There we go. Oh, is that kind of low though for walk speed? Yeah, we'll do 10. Actually, no, because running is 16, isn't it? Run speed is 16 normally. So half of that is absolutely fine. Okay, right, we're going to need to do some cleaning now of server script service. And when I say cleaning, I mean adding stuff, but also changing stuff. So, we're going to need a couple of things. Going to need modules. Add a module script. It's going to be our active characters. That's literally what we need to add, just that empty script. Yeah, okay, we're just gonna go here. Let's format this quickly because I'm getting confused already. Modules, we want our services up at the top. And got our remotes. Got our events. And we've got our functions. Do we have any initialization? Yes, well, sort of. We've got connections. That can just go up here. Because that is now a module. Oh wait, I need to go in modules. Yeah, for now we're just gonna have our killer subclasses. Replicated storage dot shared dot character dot subclasses dot killer. Subject config That is a really unnecessary long. Ooh, okay. Remotes, sprint remote is going to go here. Events, sprint remote event. Functions. Connections. Okay, that is already looking a whole lot cleaner. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, here we're going to, instead of that, do killer.new player character model, and then we're going to feed it subject zero's configuration and his abilities, which we've set up. So then the killer class is going to set us up with subject 0. And now we've got to actually do the ability handler, and we're going to have to do the ability inputs, and then we should be able to test it. So there's only 2 more scripts, hopefully. Okay, new server script service, ability handler. This is separate from the ability manager. Handler is taking the client inputs and telling the servers what to do, and the manager is going to be responsible for every characters individually. Okay, services, replicated storage, modules, we're going to want active characters module, remotes, we're going to need a new remote for our usability. Usability. Our constants. Our max. can change this to whatever you want. You can have 20. Really doesn't matter. I mean, if you really want 20 abilities, you'll just need to set the keybinds for them, but we've made it all modular, so that will be easy for you to do. I'm just going to keep this at 5 for now, unless we really need to go over it. Events. This is some nice formatting. We're going to have our usability remote, I'll do it on server event here. We're going to want the player, obviously. Ability slot and data. There we go. Yeah, that's actually kind of it. We don't even need anything else. Okay, let's do some very basic input. Which is just going to be like, is type of ability slot. String. And return if number ability slot max slot length, then return character if they are dead, then obviously also return. If they don't have an ability manager, return. Basically, if anything's wrong, we're just going to return. Okay, if ability data... No, never mind. We don't need to check the hitbox C-frame here. Yes we do, never mind. Because we're not checking it in the other one. Okay, dot hitbox C-frame. Now here what we're going to do is, this is going to be our nice basic hitboxes system for now. Today's more concerning on the abilities, but for the abilities we need hitboxes, and we also need, you know, the killer class. So we've done them all. This is like half a hitbox system, not really even half. It's like 10% of what it should be. We'll don't worry, we'll fix it. It won't even be bad, but we will make it much better. Hitbox C-frame is not a C-frame. Then guess what? Return. Distance. So this distance, this is getting the root position, and this is getting a C-frame position. So blue guy and a red guy. Actually, no, let's go green. Let's go green guy. So blue guy is our client and green guy is our server. So on the client, you move along, like, I don't know, let's say you're moving in this direction along this way, right? You're going along this way. Now the server, on your screen, it looks like these two are synced, so they're like this, and like they're the same, they're inside of each other, but they're actually not. And your server self is like, your server is quite a bit behind your client, so when your client moves, your server has like a bit of a delay before it catches up, and then once you stop here, then your server, or the server, sorry, and then it'll catch up, and then eventually you'll be back together again, and then you'll be back inside each other. So the question is, other people, all these, I pressed Control D and it came out grey, what the hell? Okay, well, the other people will be watching. These guys don't actually see your blue version. Only you see that. Everyone else sees this green version. They think this is your real position, even though on your screen you are here. On your screen you're here, but everyone else thinks you're back here. So the issue is, do you put the hitboxes either you put them here in front of your character, so to you, you look like, oh, there's this perfect hitboxes, they're right in front of me, and you know, oh yeah, it's all good and perfect, and we've got some guy inside of here. Oh my days, come on. There we go. So for example, this guy is like, oh no, he's in the hitbox, and from your screen it looks like he's in the hitbox, and it looks fair because this hitbox lines up with this part here and he's well inside the hitbox. But on the contrary, if we decide we want the hitbox system to be from there where your client is, the server looks like it's from here, and the hitboxes look absolutely ridiculous because somehow your M1 is hitting someone this far away. Like, that's very far for an M1. And because your hitbox is all the way over here, because the people see you here, even though you are technically... Oh my days, this is so trippy. Even though you're technically here. If that makes sense. It's going to be our client. I should have done this before. Server. So then, the other option is, well, to make it fair on everyone else so it doesn't look like you're doing this and you've got a huge reach, we stick the hitbox here instead, where everyone else sees the hitbox as fair. And this guy is then very fairly outside of this hitbox because he can't see where the real client is. So why should he have to get put in the hitbox even though he can't see where the actual client is? But then the issue is, now the client's going to have a terrible experience because this is going to be their M1 hitbox. They are going to be like halfway inside their M1 hitbox. So it's going to be really, really tragic for them to try and even like try playing. Like for him, he's got two studs. He has to like literally be touching someone to hit them. But to everyone else, this looks absolutely fine. So this is the issue. This is why so many games have issues with hitboxes, because which one do you use? Do you make it fair on the client, or do you make it fair on the server? You can't have both. Unless there's some like Einstein over there who manages to have both. And also, the higher the ping, if you're on 300 ping, you might be over here. Maybe not that far. Maybe like over, yeah, maybe like over here. But then if you're on 20 ping, you might be right there. So that also plays a big part. So then the higher ping, like if you've got 300 ping and you're doing that, people are going to think you're hacking, even though you're over here. But then once it's lower ping, like once it's PC players, you don't, hitboxes don't matter. Like it's here versus here. Like it's like one stud if you're lucky, or if you're unlucky. I mean, it could even be literally 0 depending on how close you are to the server. But we're concerned about these cases where this guy's all the way over here. So for our first system, what we're going to be doing is we're going to use this guy, this client, and then this server, don't even worry about. Like the client's we're going to use client hitboxes. So on the server, if you're really laggy, it will look like this if you're like 500 ping. But what we're going to do is we're also going to add a system where if it's going to be like more than 10 studs away, then we'll just do it at 10 studs away. So instead of doing it over here, for example, the maximum is going to be over, what, so if you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So over here, which is still quite far, that is like still very far, but you can change it if you want, it's just going to be a number. so that the client kind of might see themselves as inside, but also we need to have some sort of balance, because also if we have like this and then we just do client side, let's say this client's actually a hacker. This guy's going to be a hacker. What color are we going to be hacker? Red. This guy's actually evil, and he's a hacker. What he can do is he can then teleport over here, summon a hitbox right there, teleport over here, summon a hitbox right here, and you see it. You see the problem, don't you? You see the problem. He's gonna teleport over here, put one right there, and then suddenly everyone's inside a hitbox and everyone's dying, and that's no fun. So we're also gonna have a system where if the client says they're over here, and the server, they see them over here, we're going to put a 10 stud limit on it. So like, you can only go up to here, for example. Or you can only go back here. I don't know why you go backwards, but maybe there's an ability that does that. So yeah, we don't, basically this blue dot in the middle, we don't want that to be too far away from the server. But we also don't want it to be too far away from where the server is. But we also want the client to have a good experience as well. That's going to be the plan for hitboxes. We can go into other systems, just comment on what kind of system you'd like to see me implement for hitboxes. I really don't mind. I'm happy to teach anything. And then, yeah, so that's going to be how we're going to try and do it. For now though, we are basically doing fairly basic stuff right now. We're not going to be too lenient, I guess. We're kind of just going to be saying for now we're going to be saying that, oh well, if you're beyond the max distance, we're just not going to summon the hitbox. Like, we just don't care, which we'll change later, but for now that's fine. Actually, let's make this 12. So if distance is greater than max attack distance, we're just going to say 1 player.name attempted and invalid position. Attempted sent. Attempted will be later. And then return. I'm just going to ignore everything that it wanted us to do. Ability validation. This is checking we can use the ability. So this is like position. Now we're going to check if the ability is actually allowed. I'm just labeling this code because we're going to have to edit this a lot. This is quite a big part of the system. I think so, at least. It will probably be. And if not, we're just being clean with our code. Okay, server should be fully finished. We'll be able to play our game again soon. Now we've got our ability input. Okay, services, once again, let's go from the top. We don't really need anything advanced for the mouse just yet. We're going to change this to local player actually. Get mouse. This is going to be the same as before, so just copy and paste it over. We're going to want get a taxi frame. Because we're going to be doing calculations on the client for our hitboxes, and then the server's basically just going to say, yep, that seems about right. There you go. We had spaces here, didn't we? Yep. Usability M1. We can literally just put user input service here eventually. I don't know why I didn't now, but doesn't matter. We'll fix it later. Actually, would we wait for child here? Just because they could be spamming the mouse button as soon as they join the game before they're loaded in. Now what we're doing here is we're going to add some offset depending on how fast they're walking. So because if they're going really fast, we still want the hitboxes to feel like they're in front of them. Because if we just summon it on their position, they're going to walk past it really fast and then it's going to look like it's behind them. And we don't want that to happen. There's 100 different ways to do hitbox systems. Like, there's not really a correct way in my opinion, but we can go through them all eventually. But I'd rather just get the asym working first before we fine-tune stuff. Make it exist first, make it perfect later. Okay, usability. Okay. We need to edit a couple of the character and character managers. Ability manager too. Oh, shared folder. Whoops. Dot character. Dot components. Dot ability manager. Change them to dot components because they're going to be in the components folder now. We're going to want an ability manager here. which we literally created, but I forgot to actually put into the character. I don't think there's anything else in character. What about character manager? I'm pretty sure there's some changes in there we need to make. Oh, bruh, I'm an idiot. That's meant to be character model, whoops. Holy stupid. Oh my goodness, okay, that's a big issue. Set meta table. And then we're going to need to put this above. Yeah, so then character should be, yeah, killer character. Whoops. Oh my days. Oh, okay, that was a bit stupid. I forgot a function. We're going to want our walk speed. That should be fine. Colon. Activate. No, we didn't. Dumbass. There we go. Okay. Slash. Yeah, it's very sad, but that is a huge chunk of coding for an asym done. Like, genuinely a huge chunk done. And if we do that, we can see it looks like it's in front of us still. Like, on our screen, it doesn't look too far in front. Like, if we're walking, yeah, like, I think it looks pretty good. And then of course if we run as well, it works. We can do stuff like add, I don't know, repeat like 10 hitboxes. We can do that. Now, not only do we have our stamina system, we've also got an ability system. And I know, of course, we're probably like, what is this? I thought we had a killer system. I'm just my avatar with one hitbox. But this is like, you have no idea how easy it is to add killers now. Like, genuinely, you could add so many killers so easily. Right, I'll show you. All you need to do, all you're literally going to have to do, create whatever abilities you want in here. Go into here. See killer subject 0, duplicate it, name it, let's call this, I don't know, what can we do, guess 666. Change those configurations, change their abilities, and boom. New killer. I mean, obviously you have to model them and, you know, actually advertise and for the actual updates, but you get the idea. It's going to be so easy to add new characters, and we've got like really high quality code for everything being brought together. Like, think of this like an exponential curve. Like, it doesn't look like we're making much progress, but we're making a lot of progress. But in terms of how it looks like, we're not making much, and then boom, or like literally right up. We are probably about 40% done with coding base systems. Obviously all the abilities are going to need their own amounts to code, but in terms of actual base systems, I reckon we're about 40% there. But like very core systems for the game to work. For the game to work and for the game being release ready is two very different things. But anyway, next episode, as you might be able to tell, or you might have thought, yes, we can now click to use an ability. We could press Q if we wanted to use a different ability, and so on. Ability like systems and inputs is absolutely fine now. But what if you wanted to hold an ability? What if you wanted to charge up a void rush? And how do you do that? Well, that's what we're going to be doing next episode. We're going to be upgrading our ability system, because right now it's very basic. And like, so right now we're just doing triggers. Like, if you click, something happens, but we don't want that. We want it more interactive. We want You know, if you hold, maybe you can charge up an attack, or if you press the same ability again, you can do something early. Like Nova, you can detonate your bomb early in the middle of the air, and so on. Stuff like that, because we want this to be like as customizable as possible. We want there to be no limits on what we can do just because the code isn't good enough. We want free, complete creative control. So that's our goal for next episode, as well as actually getting some killer models in place and some animations. That was a very long episode as well. I've been recording for 3 hours at this point, so editing is just going to be a nightmare. But we are doing very, very well, much better than I expected. Okay, anyway, I guess I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.